Doug and PA back with another video. So guys, on my channel, I say no single mothers ever. If you've been following me long enough, you know exactly why. Don't date them. Don't sleep with them. Don't marry them. They had one guy's kid, they'll have yours too. And the current generation of single mothers are some of the most selfish women that ever existed. This female scientist academic is writing an article about how single mothers should adopt a revolving door policy because it's beneficial for the single mother and her child. That's right. Single mothers should date multiple men and have their children see them do it because it creates emotional maturity, all these different reasons. We're going to get into this article. Before I do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. It shows you support me, what I'm doing over here, and put in the comments what you think about this lady's ideas. Because apparently, like before, single mothers should adopt a revolving door policy. This article is called "Single Moms Get Dinged for Dating Around. They Shouldn't." I was told I'd hurt my family with a revolving door of men, but it's been great. Let me start out by saying this is a selfishness I'm talking about. When you have a child, ladies, it's not about you anymore. And 70% of the time when someone essays, assault a child, it's from the man that the mother decides to bring into the house around that child. It's the grim reality, ladies. It says, 40 years ago, I packed my Jeep with baby implements, bundled up my 11-week-old, said goodbye to my dogs, and left my husband in the middle of the night. Women are so dramatic, man. I want to hear his version of the story. It was an easy decision. No child could grow up to have healthy relationships in that house. In the past, I would tell friends who were divorcing that their job was now to show their kids healthy relationships. It was a formula. You date briefly, find someone better for you, and model good communication for your child. As a scientist, I planned to use my formula. I'd heard the phrase a revolving door of men to describe women who date freely post-divorce and knew to avoid that, even though my ex would probably not be held to the same standard. Guys, men with children is completely different in dating than women with children. If you're in the red pill space, you know exactly why. Women have custody 90% of the time. Uh, men with children are seen more positively than women by women dating them. It says subscribe. Okay. And knew to avoid that, even though my ex would probably not be held to the same standard. But dating post-divorce changed my perspective on how these relationships affect my daughter and me. I now believe that single moms who date men should embrace the revolving door mentality, balking single mom stereotypes, and welcoming the benefit that dating freely can bring to their family. Selfish, 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 selfish. So I'm going to get right into the reasons why, because I want to keep this video short. She says, okay, here's some things that the revolving door has taught me. A revolving door mentality allows you to find someone with emotional maturity. After coming out of a tumultuous relationship, I have high standards for everyone's behavior, including my own. Doesn't that sound fun, guys? She's going to have higher standards for you than the guy that she had a kid with. Exactly. I've been through therapy and done endless self-reflection. Unfortunately, much of the dating pool in my age group has not. Many potential partners have moved from marriage directly into new relationships without doing the work required to be a good partner. See, that partner word, guys. Women that say the term partner all the time, it's a red flag. For example, a date once told me he didn't need to do any work on himself post-divorce because the breakup hadn't been his fault. Hey, you know what? It could have been true. There are times, guys, if your wife just up and leaves you, there can be circumstances where it wasn't your fault. Look at Tyrese's situation. His ex-wife was like, "Oh, if I didn't have the women in my ear at the time, saying so many bad things about him, I wouldn't have divorced him." Sometimes, guys, it's not your fault. There's an infrastructure, a social infrastructure in place that encourages women to leave you as a man. And you know, ladies, I'll be equal. There's some times where it's not your fault either. For example, a date. Okay, his wife decided she was gay on dating apps. I unmatched him immediately with anyone who is passive aggressive or possessive. Okay, so his wife decided she was gay and broke up with him to be with women. How's that his fault? Was he, you know, what? If he would have been more in touch with his feminine side, maybe she wouldn't have seeked a woman. No, guys, there's nothing he could have done about that. Okay, on dating apps, I unmatched immediately with anyone who's passive aggressive or possessive. A match got stiffy when I didn't text him for 8 hours. There was no first date. Oh man, poor him. That guy dodged a bullet. A first date asked why I left my husband while I was still in hormonal postpartum. There was no second date. Oh, poor him. Those early red flags come fast. I'm confident in accepting them and advancing the door. Number two, a rigorous screening process means a relationship's end with little drama. I date only good guys long term, so when we break up, there's no yelling or swearing or door slamming. Someone often me isn't ready for something serious, or is it bad timing, or shockingly, the person is afraid of energetic black labs. Of course, she has a dog. Or preschoolers, because her daughter is like 4 or 5 or something like that. Sometimes I'm sad, but no drama means I'm not distracted from parenting, and eventually my daughter will appreciate the lesson that you don't ever stay in a relationship that's not right for you. Yeah, so you destroy her ability to pair bond before she even gets out there dating. So here's why the revolving door has been good for her daughter. Let's check it out. She benefits from my dating because the work required by each new relationship reveals a more evolved mom for her. What does this even mean, guys? A more evolved mom. What does that mean? A more self-aware, compassionate, empathetic mom that she wouldn't have if I had settled down immediately. I'm learning how to communicate within healthy relationships so we share feelings freely, and she knows I will always consider her perspective. I'm learning to express needs, and so she is too. Most importantly, I've confronted communication dysfunction that I don't need to accept for myself in relationships, and that she consequently won't observe or internalize. This is all woman freaking just language, just words thrown together. Because try to put any kind of logic or tangibility to any of this. What does this mean, guys? Nothing. It's all cope. To be sure, criticism of single moms who adopt a revolving door mentality often references not just the number of dating partners, but the number of partners a single mom introduces to her child. Some levy these critiques express concern that kids can get attached to a new partner only to lose them. But according to the research, few moms exhibit poor judgment in this area. Guys, come on. If you can't pick the right guy to have a child with, what makes you think that you can choose a right guy to bring around your children after you get divorced? There are no, in history, there has been no group of women in the West that picks as poorly as the women in the West now. And there's no incentive to not pick these men. In fact, it's celebrated. Struggle love and guys who cheat and women going for the top 10% of men. These are all women, whether they have kids or not, post divorced or not. Um, In fact, single dads are much more likely than single moms to find both overnights and vacations away with a new partner and the kids to be acceptable. Maybe this is because single dads perceive themselves as held in high regard, because they are, report high levels of self esteem, and didn't doubt their adequacy as parents. Their increased likeliness of finding a new partner is often called the good father effect, because it's real. Wherein potential partners see custodial dads as more attractive because of their commitment to their family, whereas managing family life does not reap similar dating benefits for single moms. Those concerned about kids attached to dating partners should also keep in mind that research going back to Darwin suggests that women are more discerning in choosing partners than men. That was a long time ago, lady, not in 2023. In other words, if a woman introduces a partner to her child, we should trust her to know what is best for her family. That is 100% false. And what a way to end the article. We have the most selfish group of women having children for the most selfish reasons. You have women on TikTok saying, I regret being a mom. going on a public forum in a public space saying I regret motherhood, knowing that their kid will grow up, because once it's out there on the internet, it's out there forever. Their kid is going to grow up to see their mom say that about them. This is craziness, guys. This is selfishness. In my opinion, in the current the way dating is going right now, ladies, if you have a kid out of wedlock or you divorce your husband, you should stay single until your child's 18. Sorry. Your children are more at risk now than ever before. There's a small contingent of men who are looking to prey on single mothers and get access to their kids. Stay. You don't know. It's a small percentage of men, but they're out there. And single mothers are struggling now more than ever and need that help, and they will sacrifice anything to get it. Their esteem, you know, their children, to get help. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, because this is a selfish woman, and this is bad advice. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one.